Habits can either make you or break you. In the next 5 minutes, I'll tell you everything about habits, how you can make good habits, how you can break bad habits. So let's get going. Hi, I'm Thomas Verghese, author and coach at empoweryourselves.com. And today we'll be talking all about habits. All right, so we begin today's class by starting with Pavlov's experiment. Now, there was a Russian scientist by the name Ivan Pavlov, and he conducted an interesting experiment. Now, Pavlov actually rang a bell. He had a bell with him. So when he rang that bell, his dog came running to him and started salivating. It was drooling in the mouth. And what Pavlov did was he offered the dog some food, delicious food to eat. Now, he did this experiment day 1, day 2, day 3. He did the same thing. So what he did was he rang his bell and he kept some delicious food. So dog came running towards this delicious food, and he was always salivating. So this continued for many days, like 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. Then what Ivan Pavlov did was try to give a twist. So what Pavlov did in this twist was he rang the bell, but he never kept any food. So the dog came running and running and running, and it was drooling in the mouth, it was salivating, but it could not find the food. There was an important conclusion in this experiment that our brain starts to learn things and things start to become so automatic that it expects a reward every time there is some kind of a trigger event. In this case, the trigger event was the ringing of the bell. So when the bell was ringing, the dog expected the food to be there, and it automatically started to drool in the mouth and started to salivate. So that was the experiment which was conducted by Pavlov. Now, in this experiment, it is a very useful experiment because this experiment also applies to human beings. Like the ringing of the bell can be equal to some kind of a trigger event. Okay? The dog coming running and salivating and drooling in the mouth could be some kind of a routine. Okay? And dog getting a treat, that is some kind of a reward. So always when you think about habits, habits are broken into 3 parts. One is the trigger event, which is the ringing of the bell in this case. Okay, the second is the routine. Okay, the routine is what? The dog comes running and salivating. And the third event is the treat, where he gets the actual reward. Okay, so that was Pavlov's experiment. Now, as we know, the habits components are exactly the same thing. There is some kind of a trigger event which triggers the habit. Okay, and that is followed by the routine, which is then followed by the reward. Okay, so normally habits take 66 days to form in a human being. So that is the thing which the scientists have concluded, that it takes 66 days to form a habit. But the habit has the same components, that is the trigger, the routine, and the reward. Okay, and once the habits are formed, they are automatic. Okay, so that's really important. Like if we form good habits and winning habits, it is very useful for us. So we have to understand the basic structure of habits, and the habits basically are structured as trigger, routine, and reward. These are the 3 components of habits. So now the next question is, how do we develop good habits? All right. Now say, for example, I wanted to go out jogging every morning. Now, as you know, jogging is a healthy exercise. So it will help build our stamina. It will help build our strength. So it's a good habit, and we should have that kind of habit. Now, if I want to start this new habit, how can I do it? So let's look at it. So let's look at it in the same perspective of the trigger, routine, and reward. All right, so let's look at it. The alarm clock rings every morning. So that is the trigger event. Okay, then what is the routine? You will put on your tracksuits and your sneakers and go for the morning jog. Now these 2 are the routine. So as soon as the alarm rings, which is the trigger, there is a routine we'll follow. What we'll do, we'll put on our tracksuits, we'll put on our sneakers and go for the morning jog. That is the routine. Now what is the reward? say after we come back from the jogging, we treat ourselves to a very nice chocolate smoothie. Okay, that could be a reward. All right, so this is how the three components of the habits work here. Now, why do we feel motivated to go get up every day in the morning and run? It may be because of this reward of the smoothie. So that's kind of the reward which you get. Okay, and once you repeat this over and over and over again, it's something called a positive reinforcement, and this makes your habit to become automatic. All right, so here we saw that the alarm ringing was the trigger, the putting on the tracks and the sneakers and going for the morning jog was the routine, and the reward was the smoothie after the running. So if we keep repeating, what happens is our brain memorizes this and it becomes a kind of a habit. So that's how good habits are formed. All right, so now let's look at how we can break bad habits. So firstly, what you have to do if you want to break any bad habit, say like, for example, drinking a lot of aerated drinks, or say smoking a cigarette. Okay, these are bad habits which we may want to break. So first thing that if you want to break a bad habit is to identify what the bad habit is. So we have to write down the bad habit that you want to break. It could be giving up on smoking cigarette, or giving up on drinking a lot of aerated drinks. Those could be some of the bad habits you need to break. Now, avoid your triggers. That is the step number 2. So if the cigarette packet is not there in front of your eyes, or say, for example, if you don't buy aerated drinks and they are not in front of you, you will not be triggered. So what you have to do is try to remove those triggers out of your life. Okay, so that is the step number 2, is remove whatever is triggering you from out of your life. So if you want to give up drinking aerated drinks, don't bring the aerated drinks into your house. So you are eliminating the trigger. Okay, and then replace the bad habits with a good one. Say, for example, instead of drinking aerated drinks, say you keep a bottle of water. So whenever you feel like drinking aerated drinks, you go for a bottle of water and drink it. Okay, say for example, if you wanted to give up the bad habit of smoking, instead of smoking, say you have a pack of chewing gum. So anytime you want to give up the habit of smoking, instead of the cigarette pack, go for the chewing gum, pick it up and eat it. So the bad habit with a better one. All right, and then the step number 3 is what? You will train your brain by repetition. That is, every time, say for example, I wanted to drink aerated drink and I'm drinking water. So as I keep repeating it day after day after day, what happens is it becomes automatic and it becomes like a habit. Now, another important step in this process is that you could have a group of friends, okay, who are there. You just tell the friends, hey, see, look, I'm trying to give up my habit of smoking, or hey, see, I'm trying to give up my habit of drinking aerated drinks. Can you please help me? So whenever you reach out for drinking that aerated drink, your friend will come and tap you and will tell, hey, what are you doing? So he will try to correct you. So that's some kind of a policing which is there in the place, which will help you break your bad habit. Understood? So this is the thing. So the main thing of breaking any bad habit is either you remove the source of the trigger source. So for example, it could be the aerated drinks or the cigarette pack, or you remove the reward that you get, okay, the pleasure that you get. So instead of that, you could replace a cigarette with a chewing gum, or you could replace the aerated drinks with some kind of a water. Okay, so that's something which you need to have. And also it always helps that if you have a group of friends who will positively encourage you. So in that way you can break those bad habits. Now always the brain craves enjoyable feelings, okay? And the brain releases something called as a dopamine. Dopamine is like a feel-good neurotransmitter, okay, which will help you feel very nice. So whenever you are craving for something, it releases dopamine in the mind. Okay, so this is another thing which you should know about the habits. But the main thing you need to learn is that habits basically have three components: the trigger, the routine, and the reward. So basically, these were the things about habits. I hope this session was really beneficial for you. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.